going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I'm coming at you with my first place Marincess deck profile that I took to locals today, and I was able to make first place. I did end up drawing in the final round with a friend, Chris. Yeah, we just finished the game in game 2, couldn't get to game 3, so it was a draw in finals, which is why this is a first place deck list. I shared first place with him technically. And yeah, this deck performed extremely well today. I was super happy with a lot of the choices I made. And I actually think this list is extremely spicy for like the sort of Marincess deck profiles you've seen recently. And you know, I've been testing this deck for months, but yeah, I made a decision, especially for the tournament today, that I think is extremely spicy, and you guys are going to want to see that. Before we get into the deck profile, I do want to let you guys know, Discord link down below, along with all of our other social media links if you want to follow the channel more closely, as well as I am trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So yeah, if you do like Yu-Gi-Oh content, you like Marincess, feel free to like and subscribe. Really helps me out in what I do here on the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this first place Marincess deck profile. Alright, so starting off with the deck profile, I'm going to organize this of sort of like engine cards and then flex spots instead of like monster spells and traps, and that's because like this deck, very similar to a deck like Evil Twin or Salamangreat, can run so many flex spots. It has more flex spots than it does engine cards, so those are the type of decks I do quite enjoy. So starting off, we have the 3 Marincess Blue Tang. This is like your #1 starter. You want to open her as much as possible, which is why this is a 40 card list. You do have other ways to get to her, but you just want to open her because she is 100% your best starter, being able to dump a Marincess. She's the exact same thing as Seahorse, with the additional benefit of, you know, when she's linked off for a water monster, you essentially get to Foxy, which if you hit a Marincess card, it can often change like which line you end up going for. So you want to open up Blue Tang as much as possible. And then her partner in crime is definitely the other best starter, 3 Marincess Seahorse. Both of these are the exact same combo line, with the difference being that Blue Tang can find you an additional piece that could change which line you are going to take. These are the only Marincess monsters that are full combo by themselves. I know I've seen a couple of deck profiles recently, some you guys may even have seen, where they say every Marincess is full combo, and that's not true. Only these 6 are full combo. Every Marincess by itself has a combo, but full combo can only be done with these or 2 of the other ones. So I want to make that very clear. But these are essentially the same card, but Blue Tang is a little better because Blue Tang gets you Seahorse, and then Seahorse is the same, like Seahorse being dumped by Blue Tang is the same as just opening Seahorse. So yeah, those are like the 6 best Marincess monsters. Then we have the 2 Spring Girl. This card is amazing. I was going to talk about another card with it, but just talking about Spring Girl, this is one of the newer cards that came out, and that's why I want to talk about this one sort of by itself. Spring Girl is really good because it gave the deck what it needed, and that is an extender that can play past normal summon. Now, it's not the best extender because it has to banish a Marincess monster, and what that means is if you normal summon any Marincess not named Blue Tang and they snow, like they just special summon snow and then book that monster, this is no longer an extender, which is why it's like not the greatest, but this can help you play past things like Nibiru, or like destruction effects. Like a lot of Cyberse decks have a very big problem with their normal summon getting popped, so this can help you extend through that specifically, which is really nice. And yeah, a lot of people are playing 3 of this, but I chose to run a additional Marincess monster over the 3rd, and I will explain that once I get there. But the next Marincess monster is 2 Pascalis, and this card is absolutely phenomenal. Like, before, when Marincess didn't have dive and the new support, like, Pascalis was a little weird because you wanted her in your good hands because she can allow you to make like Bahamut Shark easier being level 4 and help you extend. But now with dive, she is phenomenal. Like, both of her effects are phenomenal. One, her on summon to special from hand is really good because it allows you to play through Fairy Tale Snow, which is why I want to run at least 2 of this in lists for this format with, you know, Shooting Riser, dumping Snow. This lets you extend past it, which I really like. But her Grave effect, since Dive has came out, is actually so bonkers. Like, it is so good being able to like get Dive on the follow-up because this is in Grave. And I think this is one of the best Marincess monsters post-support, because she's also really good with, you know, besides adding back Dive, special summoning off Dive after like your Blue Tang hits a level 4 potentially, and you just special and make easy Bahamut Shark. Yeah, Pascalis is absolutely insane. I would not play less than 2 of this card. And then we have 1 Mandarin and a 1 Sleepy Maiden, and this is what I'm playing over the third Spring Girl, so you can kind of do with that what you will. I wasn't running any Sleepy Maiden at all because by herself she's, not good. She can't even be summoned, and she's nowhere near full combo by herself, but if you see any Marincess monster with her, she is a fantastic extender. But honestly, the reason I wanted to play her is there are some situations where her Grave effect comes up, and it's like pretty important to be able to, like, there's some times where you end up summoning Argonaut in your main monster zone because you had to make Bubble Reef first turn for whatever reason. And then Argonaut, is not a spell and trap negate without something equipped, so you can Sleepy Maiden and equip. So it was just nice to be able to discard or send this to grave through Blue Tang sometimes, and that's why I decided to run one of it. And then Mandarin's actually insane. Like the hands where you open Blue Tang and Seahorse, or Blue Tang and like Spring Girl, and you want like an additional extender that can help you play even further, Mandarin is really good for that purpose. And yeah, that is why we play one of each of those. And that is all the Marincess monsters. For the rest of the engine cards, we have 1 Battle Ocean and 2 Dive. So Dive is sort of, in my opinion, what puts this deck on the map. This is the most insane piece of support that they could have given the deck ever. Like this, and we knew this was going to happen, right? Like, see, Angel says add a Marincess spell, and there was only one in the game. We knew they were going to get a spell eventually, and I'm just so glad it was this one because this card is phenomenal. It lets you extend through interrupts, which they couldn't do as well before. It lets you have an additional starter as long as you see Ocean, which is really nice. As far as this ratio is concerned, I'm not certain it's the best. Like, none of these cards help you combo, which is why I don't want to maximize them. I don't really want to run 2 and 2 because Battle Ocean, it is really bad to draw sometimes, but there's so many times you draw Playable and Ocean, it feels great because you can search Dive off Angel. But yeah, this was just like the single most broken piece of support they could give the deck, and the reason that is mostly because now, like if you opened Pascalis before, Pascalis got you actually nowhere. But now, because you have Dive, any Marincess can at least equal a Link 4, which is fantastic. So this is sort of like the best piece of Marincess support was Marincess Dive. Then we have 3 Signet Mining, and this is of course just 3 copies of Blue Tang if you want to look at it like that. But also you can use this as an extender with Spring Girl, which I really like because you can like discard a Marincess monster after you get interrupted somewhere, search Spring Girl, and this is just like an extender now. So that's really nice, and I do have secrets on the way. I know these Ultra Signets do not match the rest of the deck, but secrets are on the way. So 3 Signet Mining, just more consistency. And then the last engine card in the deck is the 1 Marincess Wave, which you have to play for this deck to have like a payoff. Like the payoff for the engine, in my list specifically, is like a Spell and Trap Negate, Totally Awesome, and Marincess Wave, and that's the payoff you get for running your engine cards is they're going to equal that, and then you get whatever else you have on top of that. And Wave is such an important part. I highly recommend not playing more than 2 of this, and I really don't think you should be playing 2. This card, guys, like I say this in every deck profile since I decided. I actually took Wave out of some of my old Marincess lists entirely because this card is bad. Like, this card does nothing. If you don't open Playable, this card is a brick. If your combo gets stopped, this card isn't that good at all either. And going second, this is not a hand trap. Like, it doesn't do anything going second. So like, this card is actually trash. But once you have your engine rolling, this is the best card in your deck. So we do play the 1 Coral Triangle searches it, which is what Marincess needed, was a way to search a trap card. So we play the 1 Wave, and that is all you need. You'll notice something about the engine cards. I'm not playing any non-Marincess extenders. Like, I'm not playing Sea Nettle, I think his name is. I'm not playing Chathana, not playing Angler. I'm not playing the Swap Frog package. And that's because, like, I wanted to run more flex spots first of all, but also every extender, like, without a Marincess monster can be tough. I do think the Swap Frog package maybe could have some more testing with it because I think that package is insane. But the extra deck is so tight, and that's also where the spice is in the extra deck. I will be showing that once I get there. The extra deck is so tight, I don't know how to fit a second Toad if I added Swap Frog. So I'll explain more of that when I get to the extra deck because it is so ridiculously tight. On to flex spots, starting with hand traps. We have the 3 Droll and Lockbird. For this format, I just think this is like the best hand trap. This card is insane, and I knew I wanted to play 3 of it against Chris in the finals. I just like, we drew. Game 1, he opened a blowout against me when I didn't have an out. He opened Nibiru, and I drew one of the hands that can't play through Nibiru, so we got stopped by it. And then game 2, he opened Nibiru again. But I did have the Designator that time, so he drew blowouts twice, and I never saw my blowout versus him. He was on Dragon Link. So yeah, those games were really tough, and of course Chris played amazing as well, so, you know, no discredit to him, but I really wanted to see Droll in that matchup. This card's insane. 3, Ash Blossom. I think this is, you know, as standard as it gets. This is one of the highest impact hand traps right now, especially in the Despia matchup, but it's also good versus Fluandereeze, and it can hit, like, it's really weird versus Punk, but if you can ever catch them at a good point, this card's, like, not terrible. 2 Effect Veiler and 2 Infinite Impermanence. This is a little strange, I guess, because why not max 3 of these? And that's actually a space issue. Like, I'm running 21 flex spots in a 40 card deck, which means I have more flex than I have engine, and I still can't find the room for everything I want to run. We're playing 2 of these because we want to see them and, like, make sure we have one for Designator, but we don't have the space for 3 is essentially where I'm at. And then another really weird one is we're on 2 Nibiru. There might be some optimization with the flex spots, but with me wanting to run 3 Droll and the packages I'm playing as well, yeah, I just couldn't find room for a 3rd Nibiru even. Like, you could take out the Sleepy Maiden potentially and run 3 Nibiru, but then you really have, like, less engine and so many flex spots. But yeah, Nibiru can be kind of weird as well at times, because Nibiru in this format is just weird in general. Like, he's not good by himself. He needs another hand trap. And it also blows up your board. So yeah, that's sort of tough, but it's still really, really good. And that is it for hand traps. I believe that is 12 hand traps. And then the most important Go second card is definitely the 3 Forbidden Droplet. Like, this card is so important. This is honestly the reason I'm playing a 40 card list. Like, you could technically go above 40, but I want to play 40 to maximize the chance I see Forbidden Droplet, because this is how you win going second. Of course, your hand traps are there to help as well. If you open Droll and Ash, you're probably good, but this card is the fail-safe, and it can also help you dodge certain things. But yeah, 3 Forbidden Droplet. If you don't have access to Droplet, even though it just got reprinted as like an ultra rare, which makes it a little more accessible, you can run like Chalice or more hand traps. But yeah, Forbidden Droplet is absolutely mandatory if you do have it. And then I wanted to play the anti-hand trap package, which is the 2 Crossout Designator, the 2 Triple Tactics Talent, and the 1 Called by the Grave. So like, this is another thing you could sort of fluctuate with. Places like this. Like, you don't have to play the anti-hand trap sort of brigade I have going on here. But yeah, I guess like the big thing is that this deck can be very weak to Nibiru specifically. These cards were phenomenal today. Like, Designator, I want to run 3, but I wanted to fit tactics at more than a 1 of, so I'd rather play 2 and 2 than 3 and 1. I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing. But yeah, any 2 of these together is so broken. Like, specifically any of these 2 with tactics is usually just FTK if you get hand trapped. Like, this card to look was wild today. I don't think I used it to draw, but looking was very, very important. And probably won me my Swordsoul matchup today. And then it also took a Barone for game, which was pretty nice. And of course, these cards are insane. Like, again, Nibiru is such a problem for this deck that you want to run outs, and I chose like the 5 card anti-hand trap sort of package. And then the last card in the deck was 1 Cosmic Cyclone for main deck out to Mystic Mine, but that didn't come up today. This card essentially outed a blackout, and it was just like a good card in general. It can be like a really good interrupt as well. But yeah, we have the flex spots. I might as well be running 1 main deck out to Mystic Mine, because if I lose to it and I'm not, I'm going to be upset. And that is it for the main deck. On to the extra deck, which I think is where the real spice of this list comes, because I am not running something that every Marincess list has run since the dawn of time, and I know I'm going to have to explain it, but yeah, getting on with the list for the extra deck, we have the 2 Blue Slug. The 3rd one never comes up, and this 15 card extra deck is so tight that I just can never fit a 3rd of this. Like, I went to 0 cards in my extra deck. Actually today I had 1 card in my extra deck at least every game by the end of it, but I've gone to 0 cards in this extra deck several times. You will use your entire extra deck in a game, and that's just how tight it is. And then we have 2 Sea Angel. This searches your spell. Blue Slug adds 1 back from grave, and then locks you into water. It's very important to know which effects lock you into water. Which, the effects that lock you into water are Blue Slug, Coral Anemone, and a Coral Triangle. I think that's all that locks you into water. Might be another card, but you have to be very wary of those on your 3rd turn. And then we are running 2 Coral Anemone. This is like your main girl. You want to get to this because it's a way to extend. And more importantly, she adds something back from Graveyard, which is super, super relevant in this deck. Everything ends up adding itself back, which is what makes the Marincess engine so strong, is the fact that it has Wave and the fact that the engine replaces itself and you end up with more follow-up after your first turn than you started with, which I think is phenomenal. And then we have 1 Marble Rock, 1 Coral Triangle for your Link 3s. You do need both of these. And then 1 Bubble Reef and 1 Argonaut, which she's the new girl along with Coral Triangle. But Argonaut really helped this deck actually end on something guaranteed rather than Bubble Reef that like could draw a hand trap. But yeah, these are all the Marincess Link monsters I'm playing. So you'll notice when I'm going through these that my only Link 2s are these Coral Anemone. I am not playing Crystal Heart, which means I am completely 100% foregoing the gimmick of the unaffected boss monster. I just feel like it was never coming up. Like, a lot of lines ended up being I can either get Totally Awesome or I can get unaffected boss monster. And honestly, I just think the line of a spell and trap negate that's not unaffected with a Totally Awesome is not only more follow-up, but it's better overall because Totally Awesome is insane. So there were almost no lines where I ended up with unaffected boss monster and Toad. It was always one or the other in most hands. Unless you opened 100% gas with no hand traps. And I just felt like the unaffected part wasn't even coming up to be good. Like, it's so easy to out the field spell, even with a spell and trap negate, that like if I put my eggs in the unaffected basket, I almost always was in a terrible position if anything happened to that field spell. And yeah, like I feel like if you want unaffected monsters, adding Ignister's just better. And I'm foregoing it entirely. There is no Crystal Heart in this list. I cannot be unaffected with my field spell. And yeah, I mean, it worked out today. I never had a line except maybe once where I could have used it, but it was just so much more worth it not to play because I need every single card in this extra deck, and I don't know even what I would take out for it. You could argue like a Sea Angel, you only need to play 1, but 2 has come up for me many times. The next package is the Splash Mage, the Trance Code, and the Access Code. And this is something that has been being cut from so many Marincess lists. Like, I think I've seen more Marincess lists off Access Code than on it. And on Saturday, I won today on Sunday was when I'm recording this, but on Saturday I played this deck without Access Code, and I was like, Access Code is kind of mid in the deck. Like, you only banish water because I wasn't playing Trance Code either. And you get locked into water too hard, so why play Access Code? That's just not how it is. I think every single game I won today that I didn't win off my first turn board, them not being able to push through it, every game I went to turn 3, Access Code won me the game. Like, there are so many lines with the amount of follow-up that Marincess gives you where you can make this package extremely, extremely easy. So, like, you need Trance Code in here particularly because it needs to be an Earth, so you can actually banish 2 cards, because banishing 2 cards actually means something. Popping 2 with Access Code is good. Popping 1 is like actually trash, so Trance Code is like really important for that. Also giving you a Link 3 to make him 53. And yeah, like this package came up way too much today. Literally every game I went to turn 3, Access Code won me that game. So yeah, I think he's a mandatory run. You just have to find the lines where you don't waterlock yourself, which is usually easy enough. And I wish I could play 2 Splash Mage, because sometimes you need one for your first turn combo if you open weak. And then sometimes you need one for the crackback as well. But there's just no room. Like all 15 cards are 100% mandatory in my opinion, with like no flex at all. And then I am playing the Bahamut Shark and the Totally Awesome, because this is one of the big pieces of payoff for your engine. I mean, Totally Awesome is beyond insane. It can set their cards, which is like not always relevant, but it's nifty. It adds back a water when it leaves the field, which is huge, and it's just an Omni Negate. Like, this card is insane. So yeah, I felt like he was a huge payoff for the actual engine, and part of the reason I'm not playing Crystal Heart is I've decided to play Toad. And yeah, that's gonna do it for the deck profile. I am gonna have a pretty extensive combo video out soon, so if you are looking for the combo section of this video, I will simply show you the 1-card combo with any non-good Marincess, because people say, well, we'll use Pascalis in this case. People say that any Marincess's full combo, which is not true. Any Marincess not named Blue Tang or Seahorse, this is where you're going to end. So you go Pascalis, link her off into Sea Angel, and these zones are going to look a little scuffed because I do just want to show you guys this. You can't go Blue Slug and add back Pascalis because that's going to get you nowhere. You just have a Pascalis in hand with a Blue Slug. So you have to go Sea Angel and add Dive, which we're going to activate and special summon back the Pascalis. We're going to link both of these off for a Splash Mage. Splash Mage is going to bring back Pascalis. From here, you can actually link off the Pascalis into Blue Slug if you so desire. And you can Blue Slug add back the Pascalis. At this point, it doesn't matter that she's engraved, but you might not even want to go for this with specifically Pascalis, because if she is engraved next turn, you could add back Dive, so it just depends. But let's say we can add back Pascalis to hand, which will go over here in your hand. And then you link these off for the Anemone. I don't even know if you guys can see this. That's how scuffed. I just wanted to show this one card combo. Bring back the Splash Mage, link those off, and you get Bubble Reef. And that is your combo if you open one of the bad ones. Another thing you can do, which might even be better if you don't want to go off the draw with a link 4, is you can take, you don't even have to go the Splash Mage route. You can go for Coral Triangle and pitch the Pascalis you add back, and then discard Pascalis for Wave, and then you have Triangle plus Wave, which Wave is decent and Triangle is crazy follow-up, but I don't know, sometimes I just like going for Bubble Reef, because if you only open one bad Marincess, you usually have a billion flex spots with it. I just wanted to show the one card combo because anything that's not named Blue Tang or Seahorse without, like, yeah, anything besides those, you're not getting your field spell. So, yep, that is going to do it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. It felt like a little long, but I wanted to explain it pretty well. If you did like this video, leave a like and subscribe. Leave down in the comments below what you think of Marincess, what your build looks like, how you're playing it, any advice you may want, or any tips for me you may want to leave, ideas. I will definitely look at those. And yeah, this has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.